We want to bring in right now Ed Rollins to the conversation, former political director for President Ronald Reagan and a Fox News political analyst. Ed, what about this coin toss? I mean, it's actually...
If I had that luck, I'd get out of politics and go to Vegas.
I know it's funny, but it's actually not funny. No.
No, listen.
This is serious stuff.
This is serious stuff, and there was chaos. There was chaos everywhere, and I think the critical thing that she has to understand is whatever she wants to declare. I mean, they both came out of it with almost the same. She got 22 delegates, he got 21. But at the end of the day, he took all the young voters, 70% advantage over voters under 35. And you forget that Barack's advantages in the past elections have been about young people. So Bernie has all the young people. She has all the older people. If it's older people versus us Republicans, we pretty much do well on older people. So she's got a real problem with young people.
So what? I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, so people in the Sanders campaign are calling for a look-see into this. The chairwoman of the Iowa Democratic Party just dismissed it, so it doesn't go anywhere?
It doesn't go anywhere. The party gets to call whatever it wants. It's a party election. It's not a state election. We had the same problem 4 years ago in our party, in which they declared Romney the victor, then they declared Santorum, and then they lost 18 precincts 3 weeks later, and they just call it a tie.
They're doing it to each other, so they don't like calling on each other. Right. But my question to you is about the younger people. Which candidate on the Republican side can capture the imagination of those younger people that are voting for Bernie Sanders?
I would assume Rubio is I mean, we have two very strong candidates in Trump, and then we have Trump, who's obviously sort of an undefined candidate. My sense today is Rubio has a great appeal to younger voters, and he's got a message of hope. Obviously, Cruz has young conservatives, but I would say that the better opportunity to get young people would be.
But candidate Trump does a pretty good job capturing the younger people.
Well, it's a long ways to go, and we'll see how well he wears at this point in time.
So what are your thoughts about what just went on in Iowa with Trump coming in second ahead of
here's the reality. Trump can stand up there and say, you know, gee, I didn't come to Fox because I want to raise $6 million for vets. I mean, he's World Federated Wrestling all over again. And of course, you remember we had a little experience there with Vince McMahon doing that. At the end of the day, here's what it is. Polls don't matter anymore. Votes don't matter anymore. Cruz has 8 delegates. He has 7. Rubio has 7. Carson has 3. Paul has 1. Bush has 1. It takes 1,237 to get half the delegates. So he's got 1,230 more to go, whoever wants to be the winner. So, you know, my sense is Cruz has some momentum. Showed he had a very strong organization. I've been doing this for 50 years. 50 years ago, I was taught you find your voters, you communicate with your voters, you get them to the polls. Cruz did all of that with a better team. Donald talked to everybody. He didn't understand where his voters were, and obviously if he would have spent some money on get out the vote effort, he might have won that.
Let me ask you about Christie, because the governor really coming out strong against Marco Rubio in New Hampshire. Listen to this. I'd like you to comment on it, Ed.
Sure.
We know who the boy in the bubble is up here, who never answers your questions, who's constantly scripted and controlled because he can't answer your questions. So when Senator Rubio gets here, when the boy in the bubble gets here, I hope you guys ask him some questions. Now it's time for him to man up and step up and stop letting all of his handlers write his speeches and handle him, because that's what they do. But that's what you have to do for somebody who's never done anything in life.
Wow.
I need to remind you, he just came in 10th in Iowa and basically said, I'm going to be the lead governor. That's my goal coming out of Iowa. He was the bottom governor. My sense is his threat is Rubio in New Hampshire. He's put a lot of time and effort, and Rubio today would be third, maybe second, and if that happens, then he doesn't have any. He'll have to go back to New Jersey and try and get a legacy out of the last 2 years of.
Who's got the most swag in the Republican Party right now?
You know, I think obviously it's 3 people. It's the 3 front runners that basically
Trump, Cruz, Rubio,
and they all have money. And unlike past elections, usually someone got ahead and the rest ran out of money. These guys all have money. Bush has money, who has obviously not doing much with it. But at the end of the day, those 3 can go all the way. Trump's got to spend money. Trump only spent $12 million. If he would have spent another $5 million on get out the vote effort, he probably would have won Iowa.
Is it too late for that, though? Because he really needs to build down in the South, right?
You can't build it quickly. You know, he said yesterday, I'm going to build a structure in New Hampshire. We're going to do it. You can't do that. It takes time. It takes years to. I mean, this organization in Iowa that Cruz put together, the best operatives in the country. They've worked on it for at least 6-8 months. You call every voter, and you know every single voter in the state. Right. And the story that everybody kept saying, well, the vote gets high, it'll be Trump's because it's new voters. They knew every single voter. They knew every Trump voter, and they turned out their voters. And they did a brilliant job. And they'll do that. They may not be able to do that in New Hampshire because I'd focus, but they'll do that in South Carolina.
Trump wins New Hampshire?
I think Trump wins New Hampshire.
Yeah.
22-point lead in the real clear politics.
Yeah, it'll close up
and
somewhat.
He's got a pretty good organization there.
Well, his campaign manager's from there, and obviously they understand New Hampshire better than place else.
Let me end where we began. So you think the coin toss was a setup?
I think the state party types all wanted Hillary. They expected Hillary to, most of them are active Democrats. Sanders is an insurgent. He came in there and basically was 40 points behind when he started. He took the young voters away from her. I think he's going to go all the way. I think she may eventually win, but he's going to damage her immeasurably.
Hey, you don't think people are turned off by the constant meddling and changing the results of something? I mean, 6 coin tosses in a row, Hillary wins?
Well, when lack of honesty and when people think you're not trustworthy, that is an albatross around her neck already. And then
this is politics as usual. People are used to it. That's why you're seeing the rise of Sanders.
To this. I'm like, wow.
Well, no, this is exactly why people are going towards Sanders and they're going towards Trump because they think this is politics as usual. Of course, Hillary wins.
1860 election.
This leads to the anti-establishment
movement.
The
1860 election.
and you look better today than you did in 1860. By the way,
the coin toss thing is probably the best thing for Sanders actually because now people are pissed. And
now people are upset. Why are you changing the rules?
And he had the energized. You looked around that room and no disparity remarks to elderly people as an elderly man, but her room was full of old people. His rooms were full of young, aggressive, and you're going to see that in New Hampshire and the rest of the way.
Oh, yeah.
I want some of whatever Sanders' young supporters are smoking.
They're feeling the burn, Deegan. Yeah, exactly. Come on.
The burn in their lungs.
If you don't have any money, you don't have to worry about a 92% tax.
Right. That's true. That's a good point. Ed, thank you.
Thank you.
Great to see you. Appreciate your time today.